start. Okay, so the proposition team, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Yeah. Who is starting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes. I'm taking
Okay,
the time. Okay.
All right. Can I start? Good morning, dear House, respected leaders of the opposition, respected Deputy Prime Minister, and all the delegates in the House. Today is a great day for this nation. We know that in 2000 and early 2000s, former President Abdul Kalam saw a dream which we all tried very hard to succeed, but still we are way off the mark, and that is to become a superpower at least by 2020. And we all know, directly or indirectly, reservation is the biggest hindrance to that goal, because we all know being a super means that we must be able to exert pressure to the international political grounds on the basis of technological, political, militant, cultural, in all realms. And we all know that reservation is the single most element which still stands as a hindrance to this development that we could have perceived. And taking that under consideration, the ruling House would like to propose the Reservation Amendment Bill of 2023. The Reservation Amendment Bill of 2023 has been ratified by several social scientists, by several economists, and several other people who have already deemed that the reservation that exists in our nation right now on the basis of caste is completely a hindrance and totally unnecessary. And the bill will ratify the existing social order, and given that the 2021, this year, is an economic survey year, I believe that this bill receives more importance and more emphasis. We are planning to completely take away the existing caste-based reservations, and we are basically trying to promote or trying to put forth a reservation that is extremely based on the economic annual income of the family. Right now, the society, after a proper survey, will be divided into 3 terms: the general category, the APL category, and the BPL category. The general category would be every single household which has a monthly income of 3,000 or above. That is more than 100% of our current poverty line. The APL category would be everyone above the poverty line, that is more than having a monthly income of 1,059 rupees. The BPL category would be anyone under the poverty line, that is below the monthly income of 1,059 and below. The existing order, the reservation for examples, is what is going to happen. If there are 100 seats, just like how the Supreme Court have stated in the 1992 case, the existing capping of the reservation would still exist at 50%, but in that existing 50%, about 30.5% of all seats will be reserved for the BPL category. The 19.5 seats will be reserved for the APL category. They are also providing a new system of filing for case. This we term it as a reservation catalog, which means that if anyone feels as if that they should be in any other category, let's say that if a general individual feels like he was being surveyed in a wrong manner, then he can apply to the government for a reissuing of his certificate. That is, in short, a reservation amendment bill. And obviously the Speaker of the House has already been prepared and given a proper copy of how the reservation bill acts up in each and every single sector. I believe that the House, especially the opposition party, understand that
Please conclude.
the effect this reservation system have been having on this nation. And I believe that we need to rethink our priority. We need to understand that this nation needs to go forward, and this is the high time that we remove all kind of caste-based discrimination in this nation. Thank you.
Okay, any questions?
It's like anybody from the opposition can ask a question, right, Sandra?
From the opposition team.
Okay, anybody from the opposition can ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I am from the opposition, the respected Prime Minister. I am the opposition whip, and can I ask you a question that...
You're the opposition whip, right?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
I would really like to know that, and the entire opposition would like to know, how this bill will bring a change in the fact that India is going to be a superpower. This bill and the relation. What is the relation between this bill and the fact that India can be a superpower?
Very sorry to interrupt. Guys, when you ask a question, please direct your question to the speaker. Okay? Like the person who is moderating, Sandra, right now is the speaker. So you will be asking your question to the speaker, and the reply will also be addressed to the speaker. You are not allowed to talk in between, you guys. I hope you guys can understand. All right. So please answer to the speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gautam. So, the speaker, respected speaker, my question to the Prime Minister is, how is the bill going to bring an impact on the fact that India can be a superpower? What is the relationship between this bill and the fact that India can be a superpower?
Honorable Speaker, may I answer the question?
Yeah, sure.
As my opposition might be knowing that being a superpower does not technically mean that we should have a militant power or a technology advancement, but rather there is also a question of human labor, and how this human labor is important for us. At this right point, we know that several universities in this nation, starting from Jawaharlal Nehru University to the mere Sacred Heart College, every single colleges are being extremely reluctant to incorporating this caste-based reservation because it has been neglecting certain people who have the right and who have the merit to study. Students who are getting more than 200 marks in a 250 total examination is not getting an opportunity to study. Now, I don't understand how do you expect our nation to be a superpower if we cannot incorporate our children, cannot give an opportunity to meritorious students. One of the major problems that the nation faces at this right point of time is brain drain. Why is brain drain still exists in the nation? Why can't more and more students be incorporated in our native universities? Why are students going abroad for all studies? I believe that is one of the biggest questions we have to answer. And being a superpower means that we need to provide our children with proper education system, and that needs to be efficient. In the first 150 most prestigious universities in the world, there is not even one university from India, because what we are giving priority to is reservation and not merit-based or any other merit. We are not giving preference to merit. I think that's a problem which we need to focus and aim and to repair at first hand. That's what this bill all tries to do. I hope the answer was clear, Speaker.
Yeah. Was it clear, the opposition whip?
Speaker, I do want to get a clarification, which is, when the students of the backward community is not having proper education system, the government is not providing them with proper education system. So without reservation, how can they get into colleges to get proper higher education?
I believe, Speaker, I believe that the interpretation of the respected whip regarding what or who a person belonging to an OBC category is different, because see, a person who belongs to OBC category doesn't technically means that he has to be the people, the students, the government colleges are given to the students who have merit but does not have a financial ability to study. And at this point, being born into the general caste order does not technically mean that a person or a student has the particular capability or ability, or his parents might not have the ability to let them children have or go to colleges. I don't think that's fair. And OBC is being taken away. But if that OBC, let's say that if that one child, which you mentioned here, if that one OBC child have any kind of difficulty, if he have financial difficulty, then trust me, he will belong to any of the category. If he does not belong to a general category, if he belong to APL or BPL category, trust me, he should just do what he is doing right now and he will still get admission. We are just ratifying the entire order and making sure that the caste system that exists in this nation today is foolproof and does not basically take away another student's right to study just because he is born into the general category. I hope it was clear, Speaker.
Speaker, let me ask something.
Yes, sir.
So the fact is that you told it is to bring up them, but even your government is not doing anything proper, and also your incentives are not even being proper. The wealth and income distribution among those communities is not and never proper. So instead of just proper and making it accountable to those people, why is the government coming up with such a bill that is completely against the communities, and also saying that India would be a superpower with this bill? It cannot be completely accepted, because it is a historical fact that they are a backward community. They have got financial crisis, they have got education crisis, they are not having proper health facilities. And how can the government do this?
Speaker, I just want to raise the point that reservation has been active in this nation for more than 50 years, and in this 50 years, if the so-called, as you state, if still the OBC section, if all the castes which you have mentioned here are still not able to get any productivity out of the existing caste-based system, then why yourself do you trust this existing caste-based system? That's my answer to that. I hope that clarifies it.
Speaker, it is
and this is okay. All right, go on.
Speaker, can I continue?
Yeah, sure.
It is the responsibility of the government to make sure that whether these policies, these incentives, and these acts are being exercised properly. When you're not doing that and you're coming up with new things, your government came up with demonetization, your government came up with GST, your government came up with Atmanirbhar Bharat, and where are all those things? Where is Make in India? Where is Build in India? Where is all these things? And you're coming up with a bill which is completely against the communities, which is also making them prone to more neglect. This cannot be accepted, and we would like to end this conversation right now and hear more from the other people of your government.
Respected Speaker, just to answer that question by stating that the Honorable Whip already understand that the existing caste-based reservation is an ineffective process. He itself called that the government is not able to do anything. That's basically because that the government or the present government understands that this reservation system is extremely inefficient. I didn't understand that the UPA government ruled this nation for more than 50 years, and still they were not able to bring or uplift the caste-based communities, and you are still blaming this government for something that the UPA government started. No, we are trying to do something new. After 20 years, I promise you, this nation will be a completely different country. That's all, your Speaker.
Speaker?
Yeah, I think maybe we should.
Yeah, we should stop
Give
and let's
chances to
continue
the
with
other people,
what let's continue.
Hello?
Yeah, then who is next from the opposition party? Yeah.
Opposition party. No, actually, I lost.
I mean, sorry, the
I missed a
proposition.
small part.
I'm sorry.
I lost my Wi-Fi, so I missed a small part. Can you tell me till where we reach? Only the leader of proposition finished now.
Leader of propositions finished, and there was a question raised from the opposition whip, and it's answered.
I lost bit of connection. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Now, who is from the opposition? I mean, proposition house.
Yeah. The motion set before the House by the leader of proposition.
I think he left the meet. Some internet issues, maybe.
Sorry again.
Yeah, it's okay.
The motion that is put before the House by the leader of proposition is absolutely spineless. He has put this motion before without looking the current case or the practical act of this case. India is a country with lots and lots of ethnic caste systems. We cannot be going against all these caste systems. Still, they need to be uplifted. And it is baseless, completely spineless to say that these caste system or reservations are hindrance to our superpower abilities. No, it is not. It is absolutely false. I will tell you some things. In order to become a superpower, there are various criteria we have to look at. We have to look at the economics, we have to look at the stability, we have to look at how good our country's internal security is or our sovereignty is going on. Look, in order to have a better security or having a better stability inside the government, we have to keep all these caste people at the same level. We have to give them equality. For years, due to the Varna system or the caste system in the Hinduism, these smaller castes or these backward classes have been discriminated. So this is the way we have to amend them. Why? If I ask you the leader of opposition, I ask you why there was a problem in Nagaland? Why they were having insurgent groups? It's because they were totally discriminated. They were racially discriminated because of their skin as well as the caste systems. This is because the upper class thought that they are the major ones, or they are the forward ones in the country, and they have been discriminating these backward classes. I also want to why there's some problems with the Maoists and the government of India, because Maoists are fighting for these backward classes. These armed struggles against the government of India happens because of the discrimination shown by the forward caste to the backward ones. I also did. When was the first law which enabled the government of India to give them rights to backward class? It was in 1999. It happened during the First World War. Why did it happen? British thought that even during the World War I, British knew that without having these laws in India, they cannot rule this country properly, because they already knew that the injustice faced by the backward classes. It is shown with the timing of the law itself. It is shown clearly how important it was. Later, when the Simon Commission came to India, they also found that lots of castes in India has been deprived of basic qualities, and they were not even able to vote. So this is a condition of the backward classes in India. So it is completely baseless to say that this social backwardness or reservation is hindering to our ability to become superpower. I also want to put light towards a recent article which states that the officers or the IPS officers who are coming from IPS or IAS officers who are coming from the backward classes have been performing better because they knew the value of things, because they knew how each one, how the backward community, how the unprivileged are working. We always look through our privileged eyes. We are looking towards the privileges. If you're going to some northern countries, if you go into Uttar Pradesh, go to somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, you can see how much they're deprived. Still, okay, just have a social experiment, conduct a social experiment, or check the social experiment which already conducted. You can see that till now, most of the upper castes are not in favor of marrying a Dalit because they don't feel them equal, because they still feel that these people are supposed to do the work, which work of cleaners, like the Shudras. They have the still complexity of the Brahmanism as well as Shudras. We also have various landmark judgments in Supreme Court which have shown that these kind of things still exist. Now I also want to I also want to show that most of the people in Northeast are actually for sports fit. They are fit for sports. They are highly competent in sports, because for a longer time, as we didn't have proper ways of highlighting them or proper ways of uplifting them, we were not able to reap rewards of their genetic sports abilities. We are not able to do that. But with the coming of reservation and with the upliftment of various things, we are able to uplift these people. As a result, we got extraordinary people from Northeast as well as Uttarakhand from the lower caste, like Hima Das, one of the proudest or one of the best athletes India has. They were examples of people getting uplifted from these places. Also, these things happen because of the upliftment. One more thing is that India is not just a composition of Brahmins and Vaishyas or Kshatriyas. India is a combination of people from the lowest level to the highest level. These people are combined together, or these people come together to make one of the largest democracies in this country. This cannot be disabled. This cannot be disabled. We have in all these 74 years, we had a stable democracy only because we took all together. We didn't leave anyone back. So we have to continue doing it. We have to give them the support. We have to give them the mental courage, as well as we have to uplift them. We have to uplift them the forefront of our Indian democracy in order to move forward. That's
Please
it.
conclude. Yeah, thank you. Everyone, please switch on your videos, okay? Okay. So I hope it's clear.
So any questions?
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, yes. Does anyone from team the proposition party have asked a question to ask? Okay, I'll ask the question. My respected friend have already stated that how the British came here and saw the plight of the caste system. I still respect you for understanding and supporting an imperialistic ideology of thing. I also understand that, as per the speaker, I think that the opposition leader might also support the idea of divide and rule because you respect the British so much. The British was the people who tried to create a caste-based decision in this country. And at the first point, we all know even Nehru felt that the nation did not need any kind of distinction in caste, because Nehru felt that this nation, each and every individual is unique, and that is what this country is trying to promote. Each and every individual is unique. How about we try to incorporate the caste system in cricket in our cricket team? How about out of the 12 players, total players, how about we reserve the 6 seats for the socially backward people? How about we enforce this whole system of caste-based representation on our Bollywood or Hollywood? How about we enforce this restrict Mohanlal from acting because he comes from a higher caste base? No, those are fields which require meritorious people. The sports are fields which require meritorious people. And this is exactly what we are trying to do. We are trying to identify meritorious people. We are trying to give opportunities to meritorious people. I don't understand why the opposition still hangs on to early early things which are put forth by the British and colonialist rules, and still hanging on to those colonialist ideologies is completely unacceptable. If that is your opinion, then how about you also support divide and rule? I believe that will what you do. You will also support divide and rule.
Okay, my answer is this. See, stating this is an imperialist or colonial rule is it's the worst thing. Look, these views were supported by all these parties, all these ideologies which came along, except the fascism. Fascism didn't support this, but except that communism has been built on this. Communism has been built on this equality of upliftment of the lower classes. It has been there. Stating that everything about Great Britain is bad is not a correct thing. They're not completely worse or completely bad. They have their own positive sides. They have their own ways of looking at things better. And looking at the discrimination or caste discrimination in India was one fine thing done by the British. Now I'll come to the second point. Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru is not the voice of this country. Jawaharlal Nehru was not even supported by his own party member. In 1946, there was an election done in the Congress party, and they didn't even select him. They gave him, I think, 3 votes. It was It was someone else. Sorry, I forgot his name. He became the prime minister because he had the support of Mahatma Gandhi. So that's another part. So there were many who supported the caste system. There were people like Ambedkar who supported this. One of the cult classic personalities of India. There were many people. We also saw in the past like many people like many older people who supported this system. Now again coming into it is absolutely correct. We should support the meritorious candidate. But when we are if we're looking at 5 people, we are thinking they're meritorious because other people has not come up. They have not come up at the same level. We have to lift every people to a same level. From there, we have to save the meritorious kids. We have to give them equal platform and a plain platform in order for them to perform, rather than selecting some people from different levels. So that's my answer.
Okay, Speaker, one last question. One last question to the leader of opposition. If he answers this question well, I'll stop my argument right here, Speaker. How many more years should India wait? It's been more than 60 years since our independence. We've dreamt of a superpower in 2020. We are not even at the mark of it. We are not even at the even travel of it. You still understand? You're still telling that we should bring and uplift everyone to a single point, then start from there. How many years should India wait for a country with 137 crore population? How many more years should India wait? While China, US, Russia, all other countries just blaze past us. Even Bangladesh had a better GDP growth than us in the last quarter of 2020. How many more years should we wait? And I'm very, it hurt to know that Jawaharlal Nehru was opposed by someone from his own party. I respect Jawaharlal Nehru, and I don't think he is the voice of India, but I do believe that he is the architect of modern India, and I also think that you will face some problems with your party members for criticizing Nehru. Thank you.
Okay, my point is that actually caste system or reservation doesn't keep any hindrance to our superpower abilities. And the day the Dalits, the day the Brahmins of India or the higher casting that they are equal to the Dalits, then that day we can end this reservation. That day we can end it. They have from their mind they have to pull out this poison of caste system. They have the forward caste has to pull out that. That is a day we can think that caste system should end it. My third point. We can't be China because China is someone who has closed out their media, has put the Ulgar Muslim population in camps, actually like the Nazi Jew camp. There's someone like that. We can't do that. We have to take them together. We are one country which has been formed on the basis of unity and diversity. And we have to keep everyone on the same platform. But I'm telling you again, I'm emphasizing on the point. Caste reservation will end on the day when a forward caste people, a Brahmin or a Kshatriya, who believes from himself, he should think that he is equal to a Dalit. That day the caste reservation will end. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that clears your question. Okay, now from the proposition house. Is that you, Basia?
Deputy PA, it's me.
Okay, yeah.
Shall I start?
Yeah, please start.
With all due respect, I would like to counter the arguments of the opposition leader by saying that, in fact, it is the caste-based reservation which is reinforcing the thoughts of discrimination. So why are we tagging a specific community as backward people? And people will continue to think that, oh, they belong to that backward caste, so they are just below us. So they are the people who are lagging behind us. So first we have to change our attitude. This caste-based reservation is not the thing which is creating discrimination, but it is our thoughts. So if we this caste-based reservation is continuing, it will create what disparity and gaps in our society. So in order to bring an inclusive approach for our development, we are proposing this economic-based reservation. So as we all know, this caste-based system leaves out certain group of people, because we cannot judge a person by his caste and understand whether he is in a good condition or not. Maybe he is going through a difficult economic condition, a very backward economic condition. So we are proposing this idea of economic reservation. So we all know that in the case of education, and when we are dealing with elections and all, as well, when we are applying to certain universities or higher education streams, many talented students are not getting opportunity just because they belong to the general category. So why not give everyone the equal opportunity? So this is all about giving an equal opportunity, and we are enhancing the basic fundamental right, which is right to equality, and also which includes right to education, everything. And if our youth is not properly educated, if they are not getting adequate opportunities for being educated, then when will our country become a superpower? So this is the idea which we would like to put forward through this economic-based reservation system.
Okay. So, any questions?
Respected speaker, shall I raise a question?
Yeah.
You're told to bring economic equality, and also you are sticking on to the aspects of getting university admissions. Before bringing a new bill and also giving equal rights to both the general category and also the people who belong to the backward communities, why don't you have a law which will avoid the donation systems on medical colleges, I mean the private, on engineering colleges, the private, on national private universities? When you're not, because the backward community, they cannot even imagine of getting into such an institute because of the donations that the institutes are asking. So the only scope of them to get education is those government institutes, and when you are denying them with that special privilege they get, it is unjustifiable. And also, when I said the special privilege, I meant it positively, because they are in need of such a privilege. They are to be given the right to represent with those privileges, because there is no other option in front of them to come up and speak. Even we don't have the right to freedom of press. No media is allowed to just report the issues faced by the people under your government. The PM is not even ready to attend an interview these days. So that's so sad. And also, the PM raised the question, how many years should we wait? India showed a drastic growth in GDP from 2012 to 2015. Well, I guess 2016 was the year we had demonetization, the unplanned thing, just like your bill. So what is up with the government? Are you asking us how many years we should wait? It is your acts that are making us to wait.
Respected speaker, I think that the matter of donation and all is purely economics. So that's why we are introducing this economic-based reservation. Economically weaker sections of society may not be able to give huge amount of donation and all. So this is all about. This is all about bringing equality.
The speaker, then can I clear something very much basic?
Yeah.
Economics is the study of wealth. Wealth doesn't mean that you have to just squeeze all those poor people and get donations so that you get something out of that. And when private universities are getting those donations, who is benefiting? It is only those private ownership hands. And in the study of wealth economics, and how is economic inequality there when you're taking off a reservation and keeping all those donations in hand? Does not make any sense. So this is clearly sure that you came up with this bill without any kind of planning, research and development, just as you came up with demonetization and GST.
Respected speaker, we have introduced this bill in order to bring an inclusive development, because we know that in order to become a superpower, we have to be efficient in political, cultural, economic, in all the levels. So first we have to bring a sense of unity or a sense of a thought like that. So if we are tagging a specific community as backward people and they are lagging behind us, then what is the logic behind that? So in order to grow culturally also, we have to eliminate this caste-based reservation.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Did she clarify your question? Opposition whip?
Well, she has not clarified the question completely, because when you are coming up with such an argument, you have to be clear with what you're talking about. And when you're saying that we should not consider this caste system, your government itself is not giving due importance to considering India as a whole wonderful nation in sense of caste and religion. The way you ruined the life of Lakshadweep people, the way you ruined the life of Jammu and Kashmir people, the way you ruined the life of the Muslims. Should you want me to talk all your history and make you feel bad? And respected speaker, I would really love to hear what was the question from the leader of the opposition.
A leader of the opposition, you can say.
Okay, my argument is that you told that we should not say that this community is backward, but it is a practical case. Most of the communities in India are still backward. There are a number of evidences which state or articles which state that these communities are still backward and all these castes are still backward, and you are just plainly blindly denying them. And even your own census or your own case files from the police stations or from the central investigation agencies have stated that a lot of Dalits or Muslims are killed in the Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh belt or the central North Indian belt. What is your answer to this question?
The government with my answer.
I think she left.
No, she's still there. She's having problems, I think. Is the government whip here? You may please answer.
The whip of the proposition, right, speaker?
I think the Deputy Prime Minister is having some sort of internet connectivity issues.
Respected speaker, we would love to get an answer from the Prime Minister.
Sure. Can I please get that question once more? Because
my question is simple. You guys have stated that stating some community as backward is a way we are making them backward. But I'm telling that how can you deny the n number of castes or n number of ethnic people or n number of group of people are still in backward here? You cannot deny the fact there are n number of evidences, articles, or even your government reports which state this, and also about the or the killing of Dalit Muslims in the North Indian belt. How can you deny these facts? They're still happening there, and these things are not hampering your superpower abilities, because something which they are not coming under this what makes a country a superpower is the economics as well as the military technological aspects, and these are not coming in. You're denying plain simple fact these about this persecution of these ethnic communities in India.
I believe that the Deputy Prime Minister can now answer the question.
Ms. Annie Victor, are you here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I can. Look, we cannot generalize the whole country based on some rare issues which are happening in specific regions or specific states. This is the thing which we are doing for the whole country. So we cannot generalize taking some minute example and generalize this thing as a whole.
Okay, I'm not satisfied with the answer, but I'm ending my question by stating that calling the attack against minority as raya is a symbol of fascist state. Thank you.
Speaker, as the VIP asked me to also answer the question, can I just make a statement? For several years, the UPA government have followed the exact idea of divide and rule. They have followed the caste system. They have divided this country into different caste-based sections. All these caste-based sections have been extremely oppressed under their rule itself. They are basically trying to get into their vote bank, and that is exactly what they're doing, Mr. Respected Speaker. Because for the last 50 years, they never even considered having this caste-based distinction moved because this caste-based distinction favored them the most in the political way. When a person is standing for elections based on his caste-based reservation, he is polarizing his votes. He's basically working against the constitution. He's basically working against the election commission. He's polarizing his votes. He's asking his people. That is not fair, Your Honor. This merit is the thing which should be supported by. Merit should be what should be looked upon in democracy. And my respected speaker have already told that how we destroyed the country. If you guys were ruling in a better manner, then trust me, we wouldn't have gotten 330 more seats. And if you're talking about how management institutions should not be given a right to get management of private money, trust me that we cannot intervene in private institutions. If the government at this point of time starts intervening in the working of private institution, you will ask me the same question on the next meeting, that where will this influence, the intervention end? What should we do next? Should we go to Reliance next, and we should also ask them to stop? We should also intervene in Reliance. We should also intervene in every private. This is a democratic. This is not China. This is not Dubai. This is not UAE to intervene in private affairs, in private institutions. They have the right to grow. They have the right to perform under the constitution, and everything that happens there is legal. If there is something illegal, the government will intervene, and if there is nothing illegal, we cannot intervene in a private institution because this is a democratic nation. Thank you.
Respected speaker, to that I have a question. If so, if there is something illegal, the government will act. India is a union of state, and that means that though the union government has some kind of most powers with the state, union government has some sort of power over the states. Then why didn't the union government proclaim vaccines for the state governments? They are asked state to. This is a problem. It's a problematic situation, and then union government is relying everything to the state government. Why is that so?
Respected Speaker, I believe that this conversation is not getting any productive discussion out here. We are particularly discussing the reservation amendment bill, which is an extremely important thing for this nation. Trying to deter the way of this discussion is not going to do the opposition any favor. I do not want to answer that question because that does not cover anything related to reservation or anything. I'm more than happy to take any questions that's based on the reservation amendment bill. Thank you.
Respected Speaker, can I raise a question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I would love to teach you some economics, Prime Minister. You told we don't have any right to interfere onto the private entrepreneurs or what are the private corporates doing. In India, we follow a mixed economy and we do not have a perfect competition, wherein the government has the right to interfere. The government has the right to bring in laws and regulations which could actually stop making them an oligopolistic approach to the economy. And also, you have worked with Ambani and Adani to privatize many sectors, and how can you say that we cannot interfere? So you could support privatization at times, and you should also say that we should not interfere. And also, with this bill, when you as a person and your government is supporting privatization, and after this bill being implemented and privatization come into existence with complete rights in the global hands, do you think that the people who belong into the communities would be able to represent and at least have a proper livelihood? And if so, tell me, how is your bill going to do that? And we don't want anything like the university, because you were only sticking on to the fact that of getting admissions, but there are many other things which are interrelated and connected. And why don't you give such a clarification of all these things? And even there is no proper communication with the PM and the deputy PM, which is proof enough from your conversation. I will stop by this, Speaker.
Should I answer that, or?
Yeah, sure. You can.
So there have been many claims which have been made by the respected whip of the opposition. To be honestly, I know that it's a mixed economy. I don't want you teaching me anything about economics, because I know it's a mixed economy, and I understand that a fair amount of restriction, a fair amount of rules can be allowed by the government. But do you want me to go and interfere in the happenings of the private institutions, and onto what level do you want me to interfere? Do you want the government peeping into every single thing that they're doing? Do you want the government of India to completely turn itself to be Dubai or UAE or any other undemocratic country like China? I believe that it was your country, your UPA government itself, which after 2005, you were also in very close hand-in-hand relation with Ambani Group. Your President Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi were right there with Ambani in the 2009 Times of India award function. You were there with Ambani. You received a prize from Ambani, and I do remember all those things. So don't try to completely make this thing into something that's for my. Don't try to aim at me with the personal vendetta. We're trying to make this country a better one. And why not? Why not I make this country China? You guys will be the first people to question that. See, a reasonable amount of restriction has been placed on private institutions prior to the 1991 liberalization. But even though there has to be something called reasonableness, and that reasonableness has always been followed by this nation. Now, I can't go beyond that reasonableness to peeping into every single thing that the private institution does. That is not fair. That is not free market. That is not a proper way of our government should function. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
Speaker, can I tell something?
I think we need to stop this discussion right here.
Okay, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so all right, guys. Before we move any forward, let me just remind you guys that we are here to have a very productive session. So a productive session is is a session where there is quality over quantity, right? And I think you guys should learn how to stand within time limits and ask questions and give answers. So as in whenever you get a chance, I think you guys should try to stick to one question at max. You guys should try to reduce follow-ups as much as possible. And at the same time, you guys can answer back with points that you feel will clear the relevant doubts in the opposition's view or the proposition's view, depending on who you are.
Gautam, can I just make a suggestion? I think it would only be fair that this limited number of questions is. I don't think that if the people who are getting a chance to question the adjacent individual of the proposition opposition, I don't think it's fair to question to another individual. I've been getting all the questions. My team players haven't been getting any questions. I don't think that's fair. So if you could just direct them to direct the questions directly to the adjacent person who spoke.
That is on point, and I think the questions were to be directed to the Deputy Prime Minister, but I think she had some network issues, and that's why they got directed to you at the end.
And also, we did ask questions to the PM and Deputy PM, and proposition wave have not yet talked. So the flow of questions are actually right.
All right, no. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. See, the thing is, whoever is speaking is supposed to answer, right? Since the PM has already spoken, his turn is actually over, and then he is not supposed to be responding to queries unless and until there is a network problem with some member or anything of that sort. But since we don't have any technical issues as such as of now, we will be going on with the flow. Please take a note and ensure that for all the further rounds, or I think there are 3 more speakers left if I'm not wrong. For all the 3 speakers who are going to speak, I just want to see that everybody is sticking to time limits and avoiding redundancy as much as possible. Thank you so much, members of the proposition and the opposition. Next, we have the Deputy Leader of Opposition, if I'm not wrong. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. The Deputy Leader of Opposition, ma'am, you have the floor for 3 minutes, and you can start whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Gautam. Respected speaker, shall I start?
Actually, you can start. I'll be the speaker for some time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, speaker. And respected speaker, other members here, everyone, a warm good evening to all. So coming to the topic, whether reservation is a hindrance or not. I say that reservation is not a hindrance. For that, we must see what is reservation. Reservation system gives a chance to the disadvantaged sections in representing themselves. See, the 93rd Constitution Amendment Act reserves seats for admission in private and private colleges, institution for the members of the SC, ST or OBC community. So this is really important because these classes of people are being deprived of their rights. Even though we say that India is, we have rule of law, everything, the caste system still prevails, and that's why we do have the reservation here. And there is no reservation for SC and ST for the Lok Sabha in Jammu and Kashmir. See, so it has been clearly defined in a way that it must be productive. It has been clearly defined in the Constitution. And you see, Article 14, 15, and 16 clearly provides equality to every citizen and provides them from any and protects them from any type of discrimination. So, with the reservation, we only try to implement what the Constitution guarantees: equality, equality in opportunities in their job, every place, whatever they want to. We are trying to provide equality according to the Constitution, the articles. Well, we are trying to implement only that. And with the permission of respected speaker, I would like to ask the opposition this question. If you say that reservation is a hindrance, you think that we can thwart the caste system, caste discrimination, if we stop giving reservation? Do you think that people will stop discriminating each other based on caste if once we stop the reservation system? Is it going to happen? You think that is justified? So socially and economically backward citizens are really being empowered, or they are being really advantaged people of this kind of reservation system. And the 1987 Mandal Commission that gave OBC reservation is also, you see, it's not just SC ST community; they are also given OBC communities the reservation. And then citing an example, as my leader of the opposition cited, he has given some examples like from the sports field, and he's beautifully given some examples that those people who were benefited from the reservation system. I would like to also cite this point. Sorry?
Please conclude your statements.
Okay. Yeah, the leader from the a person from the very SC ST community of Kerala. She's cleared the civil service examination. You know how many people were motivated because of her? So I'd like to conclude that a happy citizen is the most prized possession of any nation, and those in poverty and in crying is not the happy citizen. So if we need to make a country happy one, economically stable one, we must make them happy. So how is it doing? We must give equal opportunity. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
All right. Thank you so much, member. If there are any questions that are to be directed to the deputy leader of the opposition, the proposition members may do so.
Respected speaker, can I ask a question?
Yes, member. Please, you may direct the question.
Okay, hearing this all, you are opposing this bill, right? So, in the existing inequalities, as we all know,
Respected ma'am, I am very sorry to interrupt, but I am not opposing this bill. I'm sorry.
So, I'm asking to the leader.
Yeah,
okay.
yes, ma'am. You're supposed to direct the question to the deputy
Okay,
opposition.
so can I ask the question to Chandni? Who is the
No, you will be directing the question to the deputy opposition leader via the speaker. That is me. So
Okay.
you will have to use you will have to phrase your sentences in third person.
Okay. Respected speaker, can I direct the question to direct deputy
See,
leader?
ma'am, you can ask the question, but then you need to phrase the question in third person. You cannot use you.
Okay.
You cannot use.
Okay. So, okay. Hearing this all, they are opposing this bill. So, what are their suggestion to this bill? As this is a parliamentary, we need their suggestion also. They are the opposite team. Okay. So, as we all know, in the existing inequality, we can't attain superpower. We all know India is in the stage of attaining potential superpower. So, can you please give us the suggestion to end this discrimination rather than reservation? Like, you guys are telling that, right?
Deputy.
Sorry, Speaker, you're not audible.
Deputy leader, you may please answer that question.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. And as per the question from the opposition, proposition, you're asking me that what norms I can suggest. See, our Asia, though it is a home for hundreds of millionaires, we are still in poverty. You see, so you think the economic classes, what they contribute is contributing to the wellness of our country? Is that why our country nation is still in poverty? So it is we have more than 80% of our country's population in this backward community. So we must propose better. We must make this reservation based on caste and all. We must have to make it give them amended in a better way that this will help them. We do have a very nice bill. We have a reservation system, but we have to give a little more modification. We cannot say this is a complete hindrance. See, I already suggested the millionaires in our Asia. Still, our country is in poverty. This is what I have to say on empowerment. This is what I have to say. That's all, Speaker.
All right, thank you so much. A clarification from the speaker. I just want to know if the opposition, all members of the opposition, actually agree to what the deputy leader of opposition has just said, that you would be accepting amendments in the current form of reservation. Is that right? Can the leader of opposition please answer? Leader of opposition. Hello, sir. Am I audible? House, am I audible?
You are audible.
Yes, you are audible.
All right. Leader of opposition is present. Yeah.
I'm present.
Is this the official stance of the party that you will be accepting amendments to the reservation bill? With the current system of reservation.
Whatever amendments we'll be doing to the present situation will be only for the betterment. Nothing, will not be taking it down, we'll be doing for betterment. There are cases, several communities or castes are deprived of the reservation. They actually...
All right, thank you. That was a simple yes or no question, sir. I just wanted a yes or a no. And I think you're intending to give me a yes, so thank you so much. All right. Are there any questions to the... are there any other questions to the deputy leader of opposition?
It's not a question, but as a Prime Minister and understanding that you guys are ready to take in amendments, I believe that this is a parliament system and we all are open to your amendments, and along with your complaint and criticism, constructive criticism, please do make sure that you also give us some sort of scope and space for where we could do better. And given that we have a humongous majority, we really don't need to take your amendments, but still we are a democratic party, but we are ready to take in your amendments very respectfully and very democratically. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, are there any other questions to the deputy leader of opposition? Seeing none, I think we will have the next speaker, the proposition whip, the government whip, to deliver his or her statement. The government whip. Hello, sir.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Respected Speaker and all other members of Parliament. So I am going to speak on for the motion. Okay. Our current reservation system accounts for almost 50% with an additional quota of 10% of the economically weaker upper caste in the pipeline. What we fail to understand is why this idea of a reservation was introduced. It was introduced to bring the lower caste at par with the upper caste at that time, in the hope that one day all of us will be at par with each other on social and economic terms. While this system has been in place for almost 70 years now, I think it's time for some reform. The government needs to ensure that the reservation it provides should actually benefit the economically weaker section of the society, irrespective of their caste. They should fix a slab for minimum income which would get such reservations. I don't plan on suggesting that reservation should be reduced or increased, but I think if the parameter on which reservation is given, India will continue to be caste-based. It won't bridge the gap between rich and poor effectively, and we would never lead to a merit-based economy. So, on supporting my team, on supporting my party, I would like to add the advantages of economic-based reservation. Okay. Economic reservations will ensure that duly qualified candidates from depressed class are not deprived of the opportunity of appointment merely because they cannot succeed in open competition. If we see the present scenario, it's in esteemed government colleges like AIMS, IIT, IIMs, we see that most of people who go there because of the reservation on the basis of social status are not the one who truly needs the reservation. Okay, one of the consequences of reservation has been that far from being empowered, those who use reservation to enter the portals of higher education and corresponding employment continue to suffer from low self-esteem and problems of asserting themselves in public life. People who have even succeeded in replicating the same inequalities, indignities, and unfairness to fight which reservations had been provided in the first place. Privileged groups have come into existence which corner all the benefits of reservation. Propagating subnationalism, another charge against the caste-based reservation and its implementation was that it would be against national unity. One of the primary criticisms against reservations has been that they should not be caste-based and should be based on economic status and merit-based.
Please conclude.
Okay. In that point, I would like to conclude my words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions directed to the government whip?
My question is, I have a question.
All right, sir. You may ask your question.
My question is that if the upper class or the privileged class is not willing to work with the Dalits or the lower caste, how can they come to the equality? How can they rise up? And how can they get any economical balance? Because if the upper classes or the privileged classes are not working with the lower classes, they will not be able to upliftment. They will not be able to come up. They'll be still poor. So the upper caste are not still accepting the lower caste. Then economic reservations are baseless. Then we should be giving them equal opportunity for them to have an economical upliftment also.
All right, ma'am, you can answer to that.
Okay. So adding to Deputy Prime Minister. So in this scenario, I don't think that any upper caste now also, the educated, we are talking about educated upper caste, they won't be discriminating those people on the basis of caste. I don't think so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Fair and square.
Opposing this.
Sorry, sir.
The facts as well as articles are opposing this. This is just a feeling. But with fact, articles are just opposing her last statement.
All right. Ma'am, the opposition is pointing out that there are plenty of facts that are opposing, statistical data is actually opposing your claim. So would you be ready for a fact check? What is your stance?
Okay. So can you please prove that? Like, can you please show us that?
All right. So what the opposition can do is the opposition can send in their, articles on the group, and then it will be reviewed upon.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
The basic thing is, most of the sources can be newspapers, can be articles. Start sending it. It is there. It is there to be searched. It is there in the limelight.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, but I'll just wait a minute. I'll just intervene here. See, in technical debates, like in parliamentary debates, like the British parliamentary debate or parliamentary style, debates that have a parliamentary style like MUNs and everything, you always need to substantiate your statements with proofs. Okay. So I'll tell you from an MUN point of view what is accepted as proof. Articles by government agencies, articles by the United Nations itself, and articles by a neutral press agency known as Reuters. Okay. However, in the Indian point of view, I am pretty sure that we can accept Indian newspapers. There is this thing known as census, which is conducted every 10 years, and then there are numerous surveys that are conducted by the government of India. So I'm pretty sure.
Except Republic TV.
Okay, I'll get to that. So there are plenty of government approved sources which can be substantiated with. Then again, talking about media, one problem is that there are always channels like Republic, and I don't want to name them. I don't want to get into any controversy right here. So there are plenty of media houses that are, blatantly standing to corrupt data and showcase it in a manner which appeals to their audience. So I think we'll rather stick to government documents and surveys by. Okay, I think we can all accept the Pew Research organization as valid because this is not a very formal platform where formal rules need to be applied. So I think independent agencies, world bodies, and the government of India, I think these are some sources we can accept.
Respected speaker, I do have a question.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Wait a minute. To the government whip.
Yeah.
Is it? Or is it related to the fact check process? I mean, ma'am, you have a question. To whom is your question directed towards?
To the whip, the proposition whip.
Okay, to the government whip. All right. Before that, I think the government whip was trying to suggest something. I'll just quickly hear that and then come back to you.
No, I was not.
All right, fine. Then I think we can entertain this question. Ms. Chandini, you may please ask your question.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So my question is this: let's take Parliament, our Indian Parliament. Apart from this one, take our Indian Parliament. If we never had that reservation, caste reservation or reservation bill, how many of those present leaders would have been there from the depressed classes? You suggest me. How many of them? All those influential people with money and power, and our globalization has always deepened the division between the haves and the have-nots, and that always the haves, always in the sense, more than 80% of the haves have been from the high-class societies. So you please suggest me, if there hasn't been a bill like this, a reservation bill, how many of those present leaders, MPs would have been there in the Lok Sabha or in the Lok Sabha from those depressed classes? At present, we have because of the bill. If it hadn't been for the bill, what would have happened? I believe I made my question clear.
Yes. Your question is very clear. The government whip may please answer that question.
Okay, you are asking about the political reservation, right? The in election and all. So in our bill, we are concentrating more on economic and merit-based bill. Okay, so to support the people who are from general category and who have good marks, we are supposed to support them. Okay. So in our bill, we are not eliminating those people who are from SC or ST or underprivileged community to being participated in politics. Okay.
Thank you so much. And I think we will stop the debate here without encouraging any further questions because, again, we are short of time.
Clarification.
What is the clarification, sir?
There's n number of documents, articles which is there on the internet. Which one should I send? There's a BBC's one, there's a CNN one, there's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we all can agree on government reports by the government of India because Indian government itself carries a lot of economic surveys, and I'm pretty sure that you can find documents to support your claim if you search in the right places, the government of India websites or anything of that sort. I think it'll be better to go with the government approved proofs because this is, again, at the end of the day, the Lok Sabha, right? So if some proof needs to be valid, technically and ideally, I think it would be a government document, right? Or a government approved survey. So that's that. All right. Thank you so much.
Respected speaker, I just have something to make. I've already told that if the opposition have any kind of amendments or any kind of changes that they want us to make, we are very happy to accept, and we're also very happy to look forward into it. That is the major reason why we present this bill here and not just go with the ordinance from the president. And I just want to remind the opposition that they are free to make any changes that they think.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. Now we will be getting to the opposition whip.
Last one more clarification is there.
Yes, sir, sure. Go ahead.
Actually, government of India doesn't have any investigation or case study on age-related discrimination here. They have only census, which states that how many lower caste people are there. That's the only thing is available. So I don't know. Maybe the other reports are
Sir,
some
to be very honest with you, actually there is enough document from the part of the government of India to prove that there is discrimination, at least financially, when classes are concerned. That is the upper class and the lower class. There is enough documents substantiated with government of India approved or government of India sponsored surveys that showcase the economic inequality in India. And I'm pretty sure that you can find it with some deep internet searches. All right. Thank you. All right. So I guess we will move on with the debate. The opposition whip, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Speaker. So, with complete due respect to the hearings and the discussions of both the proposition and opposition, I guess we are in need of a healthy conclusion. So, let's move on to that. Is India's current reservation system a hindrance to being or making India a potential superpower? And the respected government said that this bill is going to bring that change. And after all these hearings, I would like to say that taking away the reservations and bringing a new bill will not make India a superpower, because the reasons that are actually posting to be disadvantageous for India on not becoming a global superpower is corruption, poverty, unemployment, health, and the rising communal violences. And these factors are adversely affected and borne by the people belonging to the backward community. So instead of getting rid of poverty, instead of improving the health sector, how can you just bring India to the top of the world as a potential superpower just with this bill? It is not going to be possible. And hence you said that you welcome our suggestions. We would really recommend the government to have a complete research and development with a wonderful team, at least for 6 months duration, because we don't want this bill to be something like the 370A article, or just like demonetization and other things that you bring up. We really want complete report from the government showing that this is going to bring the change. But until and unless poverty is gone, there is no hope that India could be a global superpower. So a bill would not change. And I hope still when we hosted the Namaste Trump, the wall you constructed on the roadside Delhi slums are still there. And also you talk about Republic TV. Can't live without Gautam media and the right to information, I guess, and the entire opposition hope that they are still...
Please conclude, sir.
Yeah, and I would like to conclude by saying I hope I gave valid point. So this fact alone is not going to make India a superpower. So work on areas where you need to. And Atmanirbhar Bharat, Central Vista, G7, you're coming up with a lot of ideas which are only a matter of gaining public attention and getting media attention. Stop doing that. Come up with something which is very much economical and political. And when you were talking about economical, what are you doing with the wealth? We really don't understand what is your idea behind that. And also, when talking about backward community, just one point, Speaker, just one point. And also just saying about the community, the backward community, we hope that you would also consider the LGBTQ+ community, not just the SC/ST. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Respected Speaker, I will have a question towards the whip of the opposition.
Sure.
The question is that...
could you please wait 1 second?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yes, you may now ask the question.
Okay, now that the opposition have clearly stated out and dragged in the subject of corruption, we all know which government did more corruption and when. We all know about 2G spectrum. We all know about what happened in the 1990s, and I don't want to go into that. I don't want to do any personal assassination, but there was one thing that my fellow opposition have stated, and it was regarding how our nation needs to address poverty. Your Speaker, you and everyone in the opposition is well aware that by 2018, the Indian government was able to bring about 271 million people out of poverty. That is the biggest amount, the biggest rate of poverty ever alleviated in any country. And we, right this present point of time, has the biggest declining rate of poverty in the whole wide world. And my friend has also said that how communal riots, how all these things go correlate. The major focus of this bill completely exists there for education. We are giving more and more emphasis.
Sir, sir, what part of a question don't you understand?
Sorry. All right, I'm sorry. My question is that we were able to raise about 271 million people out of poverty, and why does the opposition still state that poverty need to be completely alleviated down to a 0%? Should the government wait till poverty is set down to all a 0%?
See.
Yes. Now
Can
the answer. Yeah. The question can be answered.
Gautam, I'm really sorry. I just got lost. That's it. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So when you're talking about such a bill you came up with just for education, then you have to have a proper exercise in between the older bill and the new bill. The older reservations and the new reservations, which is not yet made clear. That's why we asked you to have a proper research and development. And secondly, eradication of poverty. You told you eradicated a lot of poverty, but can you say that which portion of the community was adversely affected due to the pandemic, and which is adversely affected and who were prone to mass cremations? It was those people who you say that you just got them rid of poverty. You cannot say that. At least just give the data. You're not even providing data, and you are not even attending an interview. You are just doing Mann Ki Baat. This is a monopolistic idea.
Gautam, I can provide them with the proper data regarding that poverty alleviation plans that was imposed by the government.
Can the Prime Minister please wait for the opposition lead? I mean, the opposition whip to finish his statement.
Yes, sure.
Thank you.
Respected Prime Minister, when we said about reports and research and development, we are welcoming anything, and also the alleviation programs. And as of my information, alleviation programs are something meant for the backward community, not to Ambanis and Adanis. So still, when you're providing such programs and you are saying that reservation is something what is blocking India from being a global superpower, so what sense does that make? It's not clear. And yeah, we welcome your reports, we welcome your data, because at least by then, because now if you are going to say that we'll give you the data, so maybe after data we'll also have a round of bench which is discussing about the same cost. But until and unless you make sure that people of India are having a good livelihood, there is no point in saying that this is the only factor which is making India reluctant of becoming a global superpower. That's my point, Speaker.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we can end this question answer session here. Is there any other person other than the Prime Minister who wants to ask a question? I think no. So I think we should be concluding this session right here, seeing that all the members from both the parties have spoken. I hope all the members have spoken, right? No one else to speak, right? All right, fine. Okay, so now the time is almost 6 o'clock. We have 30 more minutes to wind up the session, actually, because we need one more concrete process. All right. This is again not a part of a British parliamentary debate. However, the authorities have already asked us to include some form of document making in the process, and hence we need an end document at the end of the day. So what we have planned is, as of now, the proposition and the opposition as such, you guys can have 2 Google Meets. Those will be functioning as breakup rooms. And you guys, all of you individually, we'll be having 2 end documents at the end of the day for this parliament. One from the part of the proposition, one from the part of the opposition. The document from the part of the proposition should, one, conclude the debate that has happened in the parliament. Both the documents should conclude the debate that has happened in the parliament, following which the proposition will state why their stand their stand has been established better and why their policies need to be implemented. And the opposition will substantiate on why their stand is clear and why their stance is better for the country and why their policies are to be established. So with both of these things in place, we will be having 2 end documents at the end of the day, just for the sake of documentation. All right. We have, I don't think we can call this British parliamentary debate any further because we have deviated from the procedure so much that we need to give a very different name to this. We cannot even call it a derivative of the BPD because the entire, content has been deviated from. So I guess it would be no harm if we add a documentation process more. So you guys have time till 6:30, and we expect to have 2 end documents for the committee. Is that clear? If you have any doubts, you can ask me right now.
How do you expect the document to be?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we need an elaborate format. First could be a summary. I mean, first, definitely you guys can specify the committee and your stance as in, wait a minute. I think I got this covered. If you can give me 1 second, I'll screen share and let you guys know. This is visible, right? Visible, right? Screen is, no?
No, it's not visible.
All right, fine. Is the screen visible now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. See, okay. So we need an end document, right? So the end document can start with the committee, okay? Which is, all right, instead of the committee, I think it will be better to title the document, this as the what should we call it? A committee report, maybe. A committee report. And you can specify whether you represent the proposition or the opposition in the next line. Followed by that, you can maybe note down your chest numbers here. The three members. Maybe you can note down your chest numbers. That'll be easier. And then you can have a summary in less than, let's say, 50 words, 50 to 100 words maybe. 50 to 100 word summary on the proceedings of the debate and how the debate was. That is the parliamentary part, okay? The parliamentary part. Following which you can have points, all right, noted down in the form of pointers as to why your side has, managed to win this debate by bringing in more relevant points. So you guys can focus on your achievements, on what you have tried to establish in the House today. You guys can note that down as pointers, and maybe you can add a few conclusionary. You can add a conclusionary paragraph on why your stance is better. On why your stance is better. Justifying your stance, okay? I think that will do. So is the, what do you say, this part, documentation part clear?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry that I missed because of my network issue. Did we finalize who won, the opposition or the proposition?
No, I mean, see, at the end of the day, we are not going to have a winner here because our end goal is to select one person out of everyone present here for the final, jam, all right? That is the final round. So this is basically an elimination round the entire day that has been going on here. We'll just be having one person selected for the final round, and definitely we'll be having feedbacks and everything else. So I don't think that we need to establish a winner for the parliamentary debate as such here. And instead, we will be moving on with the documentation process, because that will also be considered. We are just doing an individualistic assessment here. So that's that. Is that clear?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right. Is the documentation process clear? The format and everything, the format is very rough. If you feel that you can make productive changes to the format, please do. Productive changes are always welcome. So I think you guys can come back at maybe 6:35, and I mean, not come back. You can maybe forward the document to the group by 6:35. I think that'll do, right? Sandra, are you here? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, that will do.
No, we have to prepare one document, isn't it?
No, you guys can prepare two documents. Like the opposition will prepare one document and the proposition will prepare one document. That's right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So over to you, Sandra.
Yeah, now you can make two links and you can share it in the group, and you can make the documents and forward it in the group itself. Before then at 3:30, then you should be back in the meet. Is there anything to add on, Gautam?
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. So we will see you guys back at 6:45, right? 6:40, right? 6:35.
6:35.
All right, 6:35. So we'll see you guys back at 6:35. Happy documenting.
Yeah, bye.